Hey, we're back! Hi guys, it's Jake and Emma. Today we're doing a video on things we didn't know before moving to New York about New York.
So anyway, this video is basically going to be a list of things that we wish people had told us or maybe warned us about. Because living in New York can be kind of crazy sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard living here.
So one of the first things I learned when we moved to New York was never to wear flip-flops. And I know that seems maybe like an obvious...
Yes.
But anyway, I really liked flip-flops. I'd always worn flip-flops. My feet get really hot, so I don't go into much detail. So I wore flip-flops for about a week when we first moved here. And I kid you not, my feet were black.
They were black.
They looked like coal miner feet. Like Hunger Games level coal miner feet. And flip-flops weren't really made to be walking a lot. They were made more like to walk down to the beach. So if you use them in New York City, they will break on you. Like mine did. 10 blocks away from my dorm.
Speaking of walking, when you live in New York, you walk literally everywhere. If you're around, I think the limit is like 20 blocks away
The limit?
of walking. Like if something's 20 blocks away, I'll walk there. But if it's further
Oh,
than
you
that...
mean personally. I thought you meant like, the limit of walking is 20 blocks. If it's more than that, it's illegal.
I prefer to walk. If it's like a 20-minute walk, I'll walk. But if it's more than that, I'll usually take the subway. Or it's a nice way to get your exercise in for people like me who don't do exercise.
Speaking of the subway, travel in New York City is a nightmare. God forbid you ever have to leave this little island because it is the worst experience that you can ever conceive of.
Including the Zika virus.
Too real.
Taxis are expensive too. You don't want to use them unless you really, really have to. I mean, prioritize your travel list with walking first, then the subway, and then last cabs.
And if you want to get to the airport without a cab like we usually do, you have to take some public transportation, which is a hodgepodge of buses and subways. What?
Hodgepodge.
Which is a hodgepodge nightmare of buses and subways that lasts about 2 hours that involves swinging your heavy bags in and off the subway and then onto a crowded bus.
Yeah, living in New York is so hard. The fourth thing no one told us about New York is that it's really cold here.
And it's not that we don't get cold. We're both from cold places. I live in the mountains.
I'm from the North Pole basically, but it's a really different kind of cold here. The thing no one tells you about is the wind. The wind literally feels like someone's stabbing you with things, popsicles? Oh, icicles.
You're literally being stabbed with popsicles. It's the coldest experience you can conceive of. So basically, buy a really heavy jacket, find the heaviest jacket you think you need, and go up a heaviness factor.
And wear good shoes for all the snow and slush, unlike me. Another thing people don't really tell you about New York is how much it sucks when you get sick.
Remember that thing that we said earlier about walking everywhere? When you have to walk everywhere when it feels like you've been hit by a truck, it's not the greatest experience.
Also, at least for me, when I get sick, I tend to try and ignore it here, but when you find yourself in Grand Central Station with a really high fever,
Throwing up on everyone.
it's not the best experience.
The last thing I really, really wish someone had told me about New York is that umbrellas are useless.
Remember how we talked about the wind and how strong it is? Umbrellas and that kind of wind don't mix.
I actually have a little personal story time about how bad the wind and rain can be in New York on your umbrella. I was walking down 5th Avenue on my way to class. Everything was going great, except the rain and the wind. I was holding my umbrella like a little turtle shell, because you have to grip onto the top of it to make sure it doesn't turn inside out. A very strong gust of wind caught me and knocked me, literally like almost lifted me into the air. My umbrella flew out of my hand and flew into 5th Avenue. My immediate thought was, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sued, somebody's gonna die. And there was a guy on a moped that was parked at the side of the street, and he reached up and caught my umbrella before it could fly into the street. So I guess I was just really fortunate. I didn't get sued, nobody died, but my umbrella was ruined.
And in that moment, I swear, you were Mary Poppins.
So those are the things that we wish someone had warned us about before we moved to New York. But if you have things that you wish people might have told you before you moved to New York, leave them down in the comments below. I'm sure we can relate. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. We had a lot of fun making it.
Thanks for watching!
Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.